Yuka Royer is here in studio. Good to have you with us this evening.
Hi,
Yuka,
Sharon.
you are starting with a new deal that's been struck between the UK and the EU on the status of Gibraltar.
Gibraltar, well, it's been billed as a historic breakthrough as the issue is one of the final sticking points in post-Brexit negotiations. The agreement will ease travel and trade across the border between the British territory and Spain by introducing Eurostar-style dual passport checks at Gibraltar's airport and eliminating checks at the land border. Around 15,000 people cross the border every day for work and leisure, and it was feared that the introduction of the EU's new entry-exit system to come in force later this year would cause huge delays and chaos. The territory was ceded to Britain in 1713, but Spain has continued to claim it as its own, making it a sensitive issue.
This is a good arrangement that deals with the complexity of the current arrangements that mean that people have sometimes queued for hours and has harmed the certainty that business needs.
This agreement also clearly reflects a strategic and cooperative approach aimed at strengthening our relations in the context of the UK's departure from the EU.
Well, Donald Trump has declared deal done with China, Yuka, following high-level trade talks in London this week.
Well, Donald Trump, in a social media post, the US president said the relationship with China was great after trade representatives from both sides met in London and agreed to a framework to implement a trade truce agreed in May. The new deal, though, is still subject to approval from President Xi Jinping, and Beijing has so far not commented on the details of the new agreement. According to the Wall Street Journal, though, China did agree to approve export license applications for US companies right away, but will put a 6-month limit on new permits to American car makers and manufacturers, a sign it's keen to be able to use its dominance of the rare earth supply chain as leverage in future negotiations. Danielle Quinlan has more on the latest.
At the conclusion of the meeting, Trump was upbeat on social media.
Our deal with China is done, subject to final approval with President Xi and me.
While the two sides seem to want less combative relations, details are scant. Many are being more cautious than Trump.
So I think the most important take-home from the trade talks in London is that they did talk, and we will have to wait until the leaders decide if the agreement in London does meet the expectations of Xi Jinping and President Trump.
It's become clear that while the talks are broad and cover everything from tariffs to visas, a key focus, especially for the Americans, is rare earths. This group of 17 metals are vital to make magnets and required in everything from electric vehicles to cell phones and missile systems. China has a near monopoly on the supply for processed rare earths, accounting for nearly 90% of the market.
Those rare earth elements are not rare, but they have this name, rare, right? It gives them this sense of mystique or mystery that makes you think or make the obvious assumption that they are in fact scarce, when in fact they are not.
While they are easier to find than the name suggests, it's getting them to a refined and useful state that is challenging, making many deposits unviable economically. Despite holding the cards on rare earths, there are good reasons for China to want to have a deal, not least of all to start clawing back the 35% May drop in China's exports to the US.
Finally, UK Tech Festival, Viva Tech, it's kicked off here in Paris. French president among those attending on the first day.
The president toured the trade fair and now in its 9th edition, chatting with corporate bosses and touting France's position as a European tech hub. But the top attraction of the opening day was Jensen Huang, the CEO of NVIDIA, the company behind the world's most advanced computer chips that power artificial intelligence, is looking to expand its foothold in Europe. For political leaders here, the current global trade tensions have made it more urgent to achieve tech sovereignty as the continent lags behind in critical technologies and investments. Huang made a series of announcements that he said would offer European firms the strategic autonomy they need. Among them, a plan to team up with a French startup, Mistral, to build a cloud platform powered by 18,000 of the company's high-end Blackwell chips. Let's take a listen.
We're going to build an AI cloud together here to deliver their models as well as deliver AI applications for the ecosystem of other AI startups so that they can use the Mistral models or any model that they like. And so Mistral and us, we're going to be partnering to build a very sizable AI cloud here.
We'll bring more Viva Tech news for the rest of the week.
Yuka, thanks so much for all of that. Yuka Roy there of the All the Day's Business News.